Alrighty, hello everybody. This is, I don't know which take this is, but this is my attempt at a November setup for you all. So the stuff's already in there and I've already pulled all the old stuff out. So I'm just kind of gonna give you a little bit of a flip. So I switched out the October little mini monthly from Plan with B, and I put it on here with a little bit of washi tape because, as I discovered a couple of months ago, leaving it with one of these paper clips, while cute, was starting to scratch up my planner over here, and that hurt my soul. And so I pulled out the washies that I've had for a while now. I grabbed a gigantic stack of washi from Amazon in advance of some flight to California several years ago for both my kids, because I like to give them washi. It's tape, it's decorative, it's cute, and it's really easy for them to play with and be distracted for quite a while, actually. So I had originally tried to use this one, but it doesn't stick as well on this vellum, so I had to toss it. And I settled on these cute little pumpkins. It stuck fairly well, and in the process I managed to somehow like bend the monthly, so whoopsies. And as a reminder, this is what I do with the yearly overview. I don't really reference the overview. I just like to look at it every now and again, and I like to mark off the months with a cute little heart. Why? Honestly, no idea. I just do it for fun. And I also highlight the holidays once they have passed, and Halloween's already passed, so has November 2nd. Why do I use gray? I don't know. I think I want to use a more colorful color, I guess. I've already put in the 2026 yearly overview here because I was finding that I needed to look at months and like when does a day fall on a, for the particular month. So that's why that's there. November's looking pretty barren right now. This will change very, very soon. Monthly task list. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw a reel that I posted where I said that for October, like this is my original October one, it was blank the entire month of October. It's not that I didn't have things to do. It's not that I wasn't busy. It's just I never got around to it. If I don't get to this within the first week of the month, this just doesn't happen. So I whited over October and I put November, and then this is just a little cuteness from my son. He was sitting in my lap during a PTA board meeting and decided to just grab the first thing and start coloring on it. So, this is a tracker. I've already started filling it out with the things, but I blocked them off because got to keep a little something to myself too. And my master task list I get from my Moxie Dreams. And this one I can clearly tell I didn't cut properly because it's off kilter. Anyway, but those of you watching and those of you who have kept up with me on Instagram know that I have had just the biggest brain fart ever with changing my Lomi charcoal. My Lomi is this machine where you put food scraps in and it kind of composts it, but it's more of like, let's turn food waste into non-smelly waste. And it needs charcoal in order to not smell bad and to like help it function properly. And I was really, really late in changing it for several months, but I finally changed it in October and I was so happy. So hooray for me. But I've already started filling this out. And then this is just the start of the weeklies. My weeklies are from Creffecrive Paper, just like my monthlies. This is from Cloth and Paper. It's a Black-owned, women-owned company in Virginia. I am very, very glad to plug her company and to plug her stuff because she has really cute, functional, just like clean, aesthetic look to things. But I like this as my marker for my weekly. I don't like that it's kind of like wavy. I can't find this one. I think I got this one in a subscription box from, I don't even know from when, but I don't like that it's wavy. And I tried to look for this on her website, the Cloth and Paper website, and I don't think she has this anymore. I believe this is like a dry erase thing where you can use dry erase marker on this, but I wouldn't do that because it would transfer over to the page, and I'm not down with that. But anyway, I like to pair my Creffecrive Paper weekly with my Plan with B hybrid inbox. I've mentioned this before, but this helps me really stay organized to the best that a human possibly could, right? I like the little division of the different tasks to schedule by, email, blah, blah, blah. And then these are open boxes. I like to leave this for PTA stuff because I usually have a lot of things to do cyclically as events come and go. But usually this space is enough. And then I usually like to put down here the events that are coming up so that when I'm looking at the current week, I have an idea of what's coming up in the weeks to come. This is what it looks like blank. So I like to marry the two together like this. And then I already have the dailies in. Again, the daily is from Creffecrive Paper. I'm a huge fan of the setup of this daily where you have the hours here. My preference would be have the hours be on the other side, like on the inside, so that when I'm writing and inevitably when I go off the little box, I'm not writing into the hour. That's just me. But I do enjoy the fact that this is a very large open space. Mainly because it allows me to do whatever the hell I want with it. I use the same daily for work, and for work it's really handy because I'll write down a couple of to-dos and then it turns out to be a little bit of a note, and it becomes a little bit of a brain dump. But point being, it's very helpful and I'm a huge fan of it. I've only got 1 month's worth of monthlies in here because otherwise this would be incredibly bulky, and she's already pretty bulky as it is. But in terms of the weeklies, I've got those through the end of the year because it's just November and December, believe it or not. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the setup for November. I mentioned on the Instagram that this is going to be my color for the month. I like to set a color. Why? I mean, just get a little bit of color in there. Brown for fall, the leaves are turning. I'm a big fan. Fall's my favorite season, but this is 977. It's a cute brown. And this is going to be the color for the month. And then I also wanted to note that a couple of my favorite things, as you could probably tell, are the Sarasa Grand pens. This is the Sarasa Grand in vintage in matte black. Matte black is the barrel. I love the gold detail. This is standard. The standard is 0.5 millimeter tip. I'm a fan of 0.5 as well as 0.4. Sometimes 0.4 is too thin, so I switch to 0.5. Sometimes 0.5 feels too thick, so I switch back to 0.4. But I usually like to live between 0.5 and 0.4. And as you can see, I'm a fan of the Sarasa Grand. This one is like a navy, I think. Navy is the barrel. And the ink here is like a dark blue as well. That's one of the biggest things that I enjoy about the Sarasa Grand pens is that the ink matches the barrel. And it's just, I don't know, it's very nice. It's my favorite. So these come standard with Sarasa ink. I prefer the Sarasa dry ink. The dry gel ink, because it's still gel ink and I love the bold line that you get from it even when you're using a 0.4 or a 0.5 tip. But when it's the dry ink, it's not that the ink is dry, it's still gel. What that means is simply that it will dry very quickly on the page. And that remains true for nearly all pages except for the Tomoe River paper, which is what this is. This is loose leaf Tomoe River grid, and this does dry quicker than regular gel on this paper, but it's the coating on the paper that still keeps even the Sarasa dry gel ink a little bit wet. And then the same remains true if you're using gel on if you're using gel on Tomoe River and you use a highlighter or anything to highlight over it, it will pick up the ink, it will re-wet the ink, and it'll smear. So when it comes to Tomoe River paper, my favorite thing to use is the Pentel RSVP pen. This was my favorite in high school, and it's been my ride or die pen for decades. I like both the medium, which I think is like a 1.0 tip, which is way too thick in normal use, but when it comes to the Pentel RSVP, the medium, which is a 1.0, that works for me. And then I also like the fine tip, which I think is 0.7. I just like how dark the line is with this. Anyway, that's the setup for November. Yeah, and this is my personal wide Vander Spek in Janet Leather Brown. I love the patina that she's gotten. A while back, this little thing here, I don't know how this got here, but it looked like a Scottish Terrier. This is one of my most favorite things about the Janet Leather Brown, which is the way that it patinas, the way that it picks up some oils, lotions, and all that. And she has retained that gorgeous leather smell. I definitely spend some time just sniffing her. Don't judge me. But you can clearly tell where my hands touch the most. Here like this, and of course here like this. But she's thick, she's gorgeous, and she's my favorite. And she also has this big back pocket, which is why the leather has kind of bubbled. It's natural, it's real leather, so it's gonna stretch and it's gonna scuff and it's gonna do things. Yeah, I have what's called stiffener in it, because I'm not a fan of the really floppy ones like the Gillio. It's too floppy for me. I don't like my planners to like be like a glove over the pages. I like a little bit of structure, but I love the feel of the Janet Leather, which is supple, soft. There's a little bit of give to it, but it's not a glove, which is great. Anyway, oh right, the last thing that I wanted to say is when I essentially clean out my pages for the month, some of you gasped when I said this on Instagram, but I will throw away my old pages. The reason is I know I never go back and look at any of the bound books that I have, like any of these B6ologies or anything else. I never go back and look at them. It's for no other reason than who has the time, and also it takes up a lot of shelf space. I don't have a lot of shelf space in my house, and I don't really like to sit there and read old pages, mainly because this stuff is functional. It's a lot of like scratchy writing. It's a lot of crossing out, highlighting it. It's very lived in. It's very functional, and I don't have a use for that for the future. So for the daily pages as well as for the weeklies, including the hybrid inbox, what I do is I go through each page and I look to see whether I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. Anything that didn't get done and still needs to get done, I will schedule for a future date or a future week or a future month, when I know I'll have the time for it, or when I know it needs to get done no later than X date. And then anything that needs to get done fairly soon, within the next couple months, but it doesn't need to get done ASAP, I will put into one of my lists. I have a place for lists here, and I like to follow the getting things done method, so that's where my process comes from. I'm not perfect. I don't keep to it religiously or strictly, so are there things on those lists that need to probably be taken off and removed forever because I'm never going to do it? Absolutely. But that's how I like to organize myself. I know that some people always ask, oh, like, how do you do this? How do you do that? So that's what I do. And then one thing that I also wanted to note is that in bound books. I don't like bound books as planners. I've tried them. It's too much effort to like do spreads and all that. But also these become black holes for me. Like literally, like I will put something in here and because it is bound, I can't take the page out. There's no way for me to easily come back to whatever it is that I wanted to, unless I flag it with a page flag like this or a post-it note. So what I like to do is this will be a notebook. This will be a junk notebook, or if you are my children, it'll become a let's scribble on this while we're in Costco so that I don't have a meltdown. But I will put, I don't know if you can even see this at all. I will put little stars, little asterisks in the corners to indicate that I have reviewed the page and there's nothing left for me to focus on this page. Don't worry about this page, keep going. I forget who I got that from. It might have been Brandy Michelle Plans from way back in the day. Don't even know if she's still doing anything on social media, but that's what I do with these notebooks that tend to be black holes. And that's how I make sure that I don't miss anything. Do I miss stuff anyway? Absolutely. I'm human, but I do the best that I can. So that was my November setup with a couple of additional tips and a couple of my favorites. Hit the subscribe button, please. If you want to keep seeing this content, please let me know also if there's anything that you'd like to see in the future. Feel free to hit that bell. Not that I'm posting a lot, but when I do post, I tend to get them out as quickly as I can, simply because, you know, we're all busy. We all have things that we need to do. And so might as well get it all done while you got the time. I tend to post more on Instagram, but I want to post more on YouTube as well, because YouTube allows you to post longer form videos. Anyway, thanks so much. And, feel free to ask me where anything's from. I tend to be brand loyal, so these are all Vanderspeks. That's my favorite. I've got plenty others elsewhere and I need to destash, so that might come soon, a destash video or post. Yeah, anyway, hit like and subscribe and let me know what other content you'd like to see in the future. Thanks everybody. Bye.